Most of us live in a state of permanent exhaustion, sprinting through our days while silently waiting for a someday to finally feel rested. Time is a finite resource for everyone. The feeling of being overwhelmed often comes from allowing too many obligations to pretend they deserve our attention. We tend to project happiness into the future, yet joy is found in the quality of the present moment. A quiet conversation, a walk in nature, or a spontaneous idea without the weight of the next task pressing down. If joy is found in these simple experiences, it raises a difficult question. Why do we continue to clutter our lives with commitments that actively drain us? Most of our daily reactions were absorbed over time rather than consciously chosen. This chronic exhaustion is the byproduct of deep-seated mental patterns that dictate our choices before we even realize we have an alternative. Our minds run on neuroassociations, physical connections built by repeated thoughts and experiences. Choosing fear carves a heavy red line, a mental loop pulling us into familiar limitations. But deliberately carving a green line builds new paths toward growth and empowerment. Carl Jung observed that until we make these unconscious patterns conscious, they will continue to direct our lives, while we mistakenly call the result fate. Tools like guided visualization allow us to begin this work. By vividly imagining a specific outcome, we engage the very same emotional centers as if the event were real. This repetition creates familiarity, and that familiarity eventually shifts a new idea into a believable truth. Reshaping our external daily experience begins with rewriting this invisible internal architecture. Awareness of these patterns is only the beginning. Without a clear method for focused action, clarity remains a map without a way to navigate. The Energy Audit categorizes commitments by their impact on our vitality. We keep and amplify non-negotiables that fulfill us. We minimize necessary but draining obligations. Finally, we completely remove heavy drains that no longer align with our goals. This level of commitment is what enabled Oprah Winfrey to shift her entire identity. She didn't wait for change. She chose to immerse herself in personal growth until her internal shift produced a completely different life. Protecting your energy is a strategic necessity. It provides the physical and mental space required for that new green line to grow. Trying to divide time equally across every obligation leads to a shallow, divided life. Real balance happens when the most impactful activities receive the most sustained attention. That is a structural choice, not a lack of discipline. Changing a mental map requires daily immersion. Familiarity creates belief, and belief eventually becomes the foundation of our identity. When we audit our internal and external lives, we stop waiting for the world to change. We change our design, and our life inevitably responds. Perspective often comes from a single question. If today were your last, what would you do differently? Would you let the sun kiss your skin, or speak from your soul to the people you love? Transformation doesn't require a massive leap. It starts with practicing one new belief today and protecting the energy needed to sustain it. Think of your mind as a garden. You must actively decide which seeds of potential to water and which weeds to pull up by the roots. Freedom starts with the decision to be the active architect of your own time. You are becoming the version of yourself that chooses joy over obligation, one intentional step at a time.